Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you watching. I want to give you a big update of where the country stands right now with the most prominent, let's say it that way, the most prominent case of magazine restrictions in the land. We're talking about the Virginia Duncan versus Bonta case, California 9th Circuit. It's been a long case. First, if you're into the Second Amendment and you think the Second Amendment means what it says and that states can't stop the amount of things you put in a plastic tube, then like the video and subscribe to Guns and Gadgets down below. I'll keep you in the know. So this case has been going on since 2017. Made it all the way to the United States Supreme Court, which was right after they decided the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen case. On August 1st of 2022, they granted certiorari, vacated the judgment of the 9th Circuit, and remanded it back to be reheard based off of the Bruen standard, which was text, history, and tradition. If it's not in the text of the Second Amendment, and what somebody's doing is Second Amendment related, then the Second Amendment presumptively covers what they do, and it's on the state to prove that their restriction is consistent with this nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation, okay? And there's no historical tradition of limiting magazine size. Zero, none. So, now the Supreme Court kicked it back and said, do it the right way. The 9th Circuit has been doing everything they can to make this case go as long as they possibly can before they have to do what's been ordered to them, or the Supreme Court steps in again. So where do we stand now? As of yesterday, which was December 28th of 2023, I'm not sure when you're watching because this case will probably be going for a little bit, all the briefs are in. All the supporting briefs in support of the plaintiffs or in support of the defendants, they're all in. The amici briefs, all are in. So now the next thing should be for them to set a date, the 9th Circuit en banc. Remember, we've done a lot of videos on this case. Again, it's since 2017. But this en banc panel is the original en banc panel that heard it before the Supreme Court kicked their teeth in, and they didn't let it get back to the three-judge panel after Judge Roger T. Benitez again said that it violates the text, history, and tradition of the Second Amendment, California's magazine ban. The original en banc panel said, you know what, three-judge panel, we're not even going to give it to you. We reserve the right to take this again. So that's where we are, and I wanted to tell you more that I want you to know where your state stands, because 25 states stood their ground, submitted briefs yesterday saying absolutely not, it violates the Second Amendment rights of all Americans. 18 states, 19 if you include California because it's their case, plus Washington, D.C., they're the ones who are saying absolutely not. We reserve our police powers to keep Americans safe. We need public safety. We're trying to reduce crime here. Crime doesn't matter in the amount of seeds you have in a stick. I'm going to tell you the states because I want you to know where yours stand. But more importantly, there are 5 that are, I don't know, on an island playing Switzerland, trying to be neutral. And the 5, I'm going to tell you who they are. One of them is usually always on a pro-Second Amendment amicus brief. And another one, their governor might just be the most anti-gun governor not named Gavin Newsom. So let me read you the first. First, I'm going to read you the states that are standing tall with Americans, with the Constitution, saying it violates the Constitution. Montana, Idaho, Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Okay, those are the ones that are saying, hey man, Bruen, Caetano, Heller, Second Amendment, Constitution, done deal. So those states, all of their attorneys general have signed on to an amicus brief in support of overturning California's magazine ban, okay? So I'm going to give you a quick read of what they say, okay? They said the amici states submit this amicus brief to safeguard individuals' constitutional right to bear arms in public for self-defense against unnecessary intrusions. And that necessarily includes the right to keep and bear modern arms that facilitate armed self-defense. In particular, the amici states address why the amicus brief submitted by our sister states, those are the ones I'm about to tell you, in support of California's harsh restrictions, is incorrect as a matter of constitutional text, history, and tradition. These amici states urge the court to affirm, meaning affirm that this is a violation, like the Supreme Court has already said, like GVR the case, okay? Jared, what states hate America? That's why I'm putting it this way, because they hate the Constitution. They're coming out against the Constitution. They're coming out against the Second Amendment. You need to know this because some of the states I'm about to tell you or mention, they don't have magazine restrictions yet. So they're in favor of them. Here they are. Of course, Massachusetts, who wrote the thing. Massachusetts, New Jersey, Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, the District of Columbia, which thinks it's a state, but it's not, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, and Wisconsin. Now, if you're doing your check marks and crossing off states, these are the 5 that were not mentioned. Nevada, New Mexico, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Utah. I was surprised that the Tennessee Attorney General didn't sign on to this because they typically do. I'm going to have a message with their office to inquire why. But I also want to tell you what groups are behind the Second Amendment and what groups are coming out behind evil and tyranny. Obviously, Everytown for Gun Safety, the Brady Center to Prevent Gun Violence, Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, and March for Our Lives have come out joining hands saying, "Woo-hoo, we hate America, we hate the Constitution." And the following groups have come out in favor of. And this is just the most recent filing here before the en banc because many of these have been supporting it all along. So I just wanted to let you know that as well. So Firearms Policy Coalition Action Foundation, California Gun Rights Foundation, and the Center of Human Liberty, National Shooting Sports Foundation, the Firearms Policy Coalition itself, the Second Amendment Foundation, Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners Foundation, Gun Owners of California, the Heller Foundation, Virginia Citizens Defense League, the Tennessee Firearms Association, America's Future Incorporated, the U.S. Constitutional Rights Legal Defense Fund, and the Conservative Legal Defense and Education Fund. Those have all come out in support of America, the Constitution. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because, A, the states are divided. So we're in a bad spot. I'm sure all of you know that. I'm not going to go down that path with you because we all know this. We're in a bad spot in this country. 19 states, 20, count California. 20 states hate you, hate your rights, hate your freedoms, hate the fact that you exercise those rights, that you exercise those freedoms, that you would be there, God forbid, one of these ass clowns who hate our country were in danger, we would be there to stop it, to save someone's life. That's why we carry. But they hate you. They hate what you stand for, and they hate that part of this country. I also wanted to tell you that this case has been going on for 6.5 years. It's a long time, and it's nowhere near done yet. I was just talking with my buddy Anthony, the armed scholar, and he's like, there are some things in the filings here that have raised his eyebrow, and he thinks that the Ninth Circuit has an out where they could potentially make this case go longer. But let's say now that, they, in the springtime for March, they set a date for a hearing for oral arguments. The oral arguments happen, and then they can take 6, 7, 8 months before they render a decision. There's also renewed talk by the Biden folk the anti-America folk about packing the Supreme Court. And I was telling Anthony my concern is if they actually do it this time, before we get these rulings, where do we stand then? That is something I want everybody to dwell on this evening. Maybe take some time out of your schedule this weekend and actually sit down and think of that. The country is split. And there's a power, an evil power in this country that's trying to destroy it. We know that. In fact, they're funneling people into this country by the thousands. What side of American freedom do you stand on? Because the time might come soon for you to decide. Just wanted to let you all know, where we stand as far as this case, is where all the states stand, where the Supreme Court has already said they stand on this. And I wish they would have just taken 2 minutes out of their life and made the decision instead of granting, vacating, and remanding. But here we are. There's going to be a lot of things happening in 2024. There's the California assault weapon bans coming up. You have several cases. You got the Rahimi case that the Supreme Court will be ruling on probably by the end of June before they take off for their break. There are a lot of things that will affect the Second Amendment. You also have the case regarding Chevron deference that the Supreme Court has heard. There's a lot of things that can either help us greatly in restoring that right or put us in a spot where it's time to fight for that right again. Let me know what you think down below. Till we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. Guys and gals, that's why we do it. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.